All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Miss Guadalupe on the line. How are you, Guadalupe?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. And for those of you that are listening, she has awesome jewels to share with us. So if you stick around to the end, you have a complimentary gift as an appreciation for sticking around and seeing what she wants to share with us today. Guadalupe, just so that we can get a little bit of an idea of who you are and what you're about, can you just share one motivational quote that really inspires you, something that encourages you and gets you going?
Yes, absolutely. So my favorite quote is from Gandhi, and it is, "My strength doesn't come from physical capacity, it comes from indomitable will." That really resonates with me. I think that anything that life throws at you, it really has to do with the strength that you put forth to it, and you can accomplish anything no matter what situation you're in.
Yes, and I believe that a big part of it is mindset and will and determination. I think that
Absolutely.
if you stay focused on the prize and you're persistent and you put enough effort into it, you will see it accomplished. And I think that that's something that we can all put on a post-it note to remind ourselves on our computer screens, on our dressers, on our sink mirror, anywhere where we can see it to remind ourselves that we do have the will to do whatever we want.
Yes, absolutely.
I know that at times it's particularly difficult depending on what's going on in your life to stay focused and persistent and determined, but it's not something that we can still allow our dreams to come to pass. So can you talk a little bit about a time in your life where maybe you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel? You were experiencing maybe some external challenges and some unforeseen circumstances, but at the end of the day, you were able to bring your goal or your dream to fruition.
Yes. Well, I think just ever since I turned 18 to now, it has been kind of a bumpy road for me. Like, I got pregnant pretty young. I got pregnant at 21, or yeah, 21. I had just turned 21. So that was a huge shocker for me. And because I was on birth control, I wasn't really expecting to get pregnant. It was kind of a surprise. Um, so that was a big challenge. I was still in college, and I just didn't really know how to move forward from that. I was in a relationship with someone, but it didn't seem as mature. We were definitely, I don't think, as mature as we are now, but also my background, I come from a very strict Mexican background where pregnancy kind of before marriage or anything like that is a little bit unseen. Like, you don't want to be that child.
Right.
So me having to say, I'm pregnant and I'm going to assume my responsibility was a very hard step, alone with my family and kind of everything I dealt with them. But I also had to put my college dreams aside. I was still going to college, but I just didn't feel motivated anymore. I didn't feel like I had the energy. Being pregnant was part of it, but I just went through a really low point in my life when I found out I was pregnant, and I didn't really know how to overcome that. I didn't have the support that I thought I would have had, whenever I said, "Oh, I'm pregnant," from my family. It just didn't seem, it wasn't there really. And then my relationship was also very hard. We were still kind of trying to figure ourselves out, like as a couple, as individuals. We didn't really know what we wanted. Like, we were in a relationship, but we didn't know where that was going to go. We didn't know if we were going to get married at some point. So that was very challenging. And I think now that I'm older and, my daughter has also grown, just going through that and really embracing that change and saying, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. This is how, if I'm not pushing myself and if I'm not positive about this, if I'm not supporting myself, then who is? Right. I have to be my biggest supporter, my biggest hero in this circumstance. So I really tried to take that with a grain of salt, and I just challenged it face on. And I'm so glad that I did, because changing my mindset was hard at first because you don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. But really just being your biggest cheerleader, I think, can be difficult. But once you are, it doesn't even matter what other people think or what other people may say or perceive about you. It's, you've done it.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of times when we're going through specific challenges, we very well may not see how we're going to get out of it. But then once we do get out of it and we look back, we're like, oh, well, that wasn't actually as difficult as what I thought it was going to be. You know, and I think that a lot of times we are definitely our strongest cheerleader. And sometimes we are the only ones that are going to be a support and cheerleader for whatever it is that we're pursuing. Talk a little bit about how people can gain support outside of who is immediately around them. Because for a lot of people, they feel like, you know, they have this goal, they have this dream, they have whatever it is that they're working toward, but the people around them don't necessarily understand how to help them, or they just don't feel like helping them. So what are some ways that people can gain support for whatever their endeavor is?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with communicating with yourself first, and really, what are those needs? What am I missing? How can I get that? And I get it because I've been in that situation before where I feel stuck and I don't really know who to reach out to or who can help me. And I think the biggest one for me was really realizing that I just needed to talk and I needed to go to therapy just for advice, one, to kind of really talk about my goals and what I want to do with my life and express the things I'm going through. So that was a big help for me because it put me in kind of the right direction. Like, okay, I've expressed what I wanted. I've expressed what I'm feeling, and now I know kind of where to go. But I think also, like, ever since I started blogging, that community has really, the blogging community has really kind of taken these smaller bloggers or influencers, and it's so supportive and just willing to help. I didn't expect that at all. And I think when you just kind of connect with certain people, sometimes it's so unplanned. You just maybe go to a event in the community, or you, I don't know, a friend from a friend, something like that. And you just get out there and you find like-minded people. That is such a big help. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and I think that when you do decide to get out there into the community and just ask questions about what other people do and what are some resources that they have used, or go online and look up community groups in that particular interest area online, I think that a lot of times you're able to see that there's so many other people out there that have very similar interests and they're also looking for support. So they're more than happy to reciprocate and build a relationship with you to help you get to your goals as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people are so eager to share.
Yeah.
They want to. Like, I didn't know that was possible. And then I started doing this, and people just gave all these things to me. And I mean, besides the knowledge, it's also the willingness to help. Like, people want to help you, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Talk a little bit about how we can connect with others and still go about our day-to-day activities, and how can we take care of ourselves so that we're not overwhelming ourselves and becoming frustrated about all of life's regular demands that we've been used to for the last 10, 15, 20 years of our life. Because sometimes, you know, when it's time to make a change, you can't automatically say, okay, I want to make this change today, and it's just a piece of cake. You know. So
Yeah.
talk about the importance of self-care in all of this and how it's easier sometimes to carry out your purpose and your gifts into this world when you do provide yourself with the love that you need.
Yeah, I think, um, personally, I get so sucked up in social media. I get so dwelled on my phone, and I'm
Yeah.
constantly, communicating with people, whether I'm commenting, DMing, supporting in any way that I can, that sometimes I forget about myself. And I'm like, okay, what do I really need? And then I start getting overwhelmed. I start getting a little stressed, maybe a little frustrated, and it's noticeable. I see it in my mood all the time. So I think for me, it's important to put ourselves first and to
Yeah.
really ask yourself, okay, when do I need to stop? When is that point where I need to put the phone down and just focus on myself, whether it's taking a bath, going for a walk, writing something down, talking to someone else other than the phone, looking down at the phone for so long. So it's really about, putting your mind, body, and soul into yourself. Maybe it's just being in peace, quiet. You just
Right.
taking a nap. I don't know, but I think it's important to give yourself the grace and remind yourself that it's going to be okay. Like, you can connect with people and you can be supportive and you can be there, but you also have to show up for yourself. You can show up for everybody else, but showing up for ourselves is definitely the most important thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that there's so much that we could do on our phones these days. It's not just you just pick it up and call somebody. There's so much you can do on your phone that sometimes it's difficult to keep your eyes off the screen. I mean, you can literally read a newspaper, you can dial the phone to make calls, you text somebody, you can go online and look up the answer to a question that you have in your head. There's just so much. There's games that people play on there. I mean, it's like, whereas we used to have to go find these individual items, we can now just turn right to our phone and everything is there. You used to have to go and turn to the yellow pages.
Right.
And now it's just pick up your phone and there's the address book. There are the numbers to the companies in your area right there on Google, So it does take some discipline to step away and to also enjoy what is directly around you and be at peace with what's directly around you. Sometimes our minds can wander and we become anxious or frustrated about things that are totally out of our control. So sometimes just sitting and resting in the present moment, I think that is in and of itself a form of meditation and can bring your stress level, for example, from a 10 where you're ready to pull out your hair to almost a 1 or a 2 because you're just focusing on that specific period in time only.
Yes, absolutely. I saw a post actually from a girl, I think it was yesterday, and she was on her way somewhere, but she was running a little early. So she stopped by the pier and she was on her phone for a minute. And then she's like, I put my phone down and I closed my eyes for about 5 minutes and just heard everything around me, the water, the airplane flying above her, the birds just surrounding. And she was like, when I was on my phone, I had zero knowledge that all these things were happening. It's just taking that, like you said, moment to meditate and just really enjoy that moment.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I really appreciate you, and I love your blog and your picture story on Instagram, and I know that there's going to be other people out there that want to connect with you. So can you tell us a little bit about what your intention is behind your social media presence and the best way that people can connect with you?
Yeah, so I think when I started my blog, I really just did it because I wanted to write. And that was my dream. I just wanted to be a writer. But I think I've discovered that, becoming a mom and everything that entails, because it's a life within itself, I like being positive. One coworker actually told me that she was like, if you tell yourself that it's going to be a great day, it's going to be a great day. So you have to motivate yourself. And ever since I really started focusing on that and really doing that, that's kind of what I wanted to share with other people. Like on my Instagram, at least, I want to be as transparent as possible, but I also want to be your biggest supporter and your biggest motivator. I want to share something positive with you about maybe something you weren't thinking about. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely like my biggest goal when I'm on Instagram. I want to motivate you. I want to shed some positivity on your day. I want to encourage you. And the best way really to connect with me would be on Instagram, whether it's an email or whether it's a DM. It's the best way to reach me, really.
Awesome. So for all of you that are listening, all of her contact information is in the description box, as well as all of my contact information. And I'm always looking for people to also share their experiences and words of encouragement that they can give to other women around the world. And talking about our challenges as well as our successes, and also talking about how we can be a light and of service to others, I think is key. Because a lot of times people feel like the gifts that they have within them, that they're not a big deal. Like, how is that really serving mankind? When in all actuality it is. It may not feel like it to you because it comes so natural. But to other people, they appreciate it. And for any of you that are open to sharing your stories, I welcome that. Just contact me at the link in the description box. And if you want even more intimate contact with me and other ladies like Guadalupe and all these other women that have a purpose-driven mindset, you can also connect with me in my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. And we're not just talking about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint. We're talking about nutrition for the mind, body, and soul, which Guadalupe touched on. So I encourage you guys to become more active in a positive, like-minded community such as that. And I strongly welcome you. And for anybody that's listening, I know sometimes people feel like, well, I don't really know what my gifts are. And I feel like there's a lot of self-development that I need. I offer a complimentary career purpose as well as a personality assessment to help you focus in on who you are in this world and how you can shed your light to others. So feel free to connect with me, and I'm going to make sure that you get on the right track. Guadalupe, do you have any last words of encouragement?
No, I think that another quote I think that I really, really like is that everything seems impossible until it's done. I think that's definitely a challenge for people. It is a challenge for me. Sometimes it's taking that first step. But as soon as you do, it's everything you wanted is on the other side of taking that step.
Yes. And we all have fears. I have fears. There's not a whole lot in life that we can't get through. I think that when we're fearful, it's because we just don't know how to embrace uncertainty. Yeah. But I've noticed that in my own life, there's certain things that I'm like, why did I even fear that? after it's all said and done, it's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. You know, what was I like catastrophizing, you know, and we all do it. But I think that the more that we can be around people that can offer support, and that's why I was stressing, you know, finding people online or in your local community that are, you know, of similar mindset as you is key, because they can help be your cheerleader and push you to that next level when you don't feel like you have it in you to do it by yourself.
Right.
So thank you, Guadalupe. I really do appreciate you. I strongly encourage ladies to share their stories and offer support the way that you do on social media, and just that realness and authenticity that you provide makes people want to resonate with you and connect with you that much more. So I encourage all of you listening to follow her page and learn a little bit about her journey and her story. And she can't possibly talk about everything in just these few minutes that we shared. So there's a wealth of other knowledge that she can drop in, encourage you and transform your life without you even realizing that it's being done. I notice that when I go on social media, sometimes I'm not on there to be inspired all the time.
Yeah,
I'm on there sometimes just for pure entertainment.
Right.
And I read enough awesome inspirational posts such as yours, and at the end of the day, I feel like Superwoman now. So I encourage you guys to fill your space with people that are going to help propel you to the next level in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again. I love this conversation, and anything that I can do to really support the women in the community is, yeah, I'm all for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening wherever you are in the world. And please share this out with other people that this could benefit, because we all know that not everybody's going to ask for support. So share this out with family and friends that you believe that could be encouraged by this positivity. And until our next episode, don't forget to live a life full of meaning and purpose. I will talk to you guys soon.